I watched Pluribus, and nothing could have prepared me for what this show is. I'm still thinking about it. So, the interesting thing with this show is that I've only seen the first episode, so I don't know where we're going from here. I didn't really know too much before I jumped in. I saw the trailer, and I had an idea of what it was about, and what I figured from the trailer and what you get from the first episode. I'll give you the brief synopsis. We are on Earth, and some scientists have received a signal, and as they're analyzing the signal, they basically find out that the frequency is pretty much a virus that can change our brains so that we all sync up together. So it's kind of a twist on like an alien invasion, except there is no alien invasion. It's just a virus, but one that unites everybody, therefore giving the world a great understanding of one another, because everyone is in everybody's heads, so everybody gets along, everybody's happy. However, there are a few people on Earth that are pretty much immune to it, and as a result, those people cannot be part of the hive mind, seemingly, although the hive mind's working on it. And the other thing is, not everybody survives this. We are introduced to Carol, who is our main character. She is a writer, and she is very interesting as a main character. I really like what we're doing with this show in the sense of making it feel really grounded. She's a writer that writes these romance fantasy novels, and she is super miserable when it comes to where she's at in life right now. She doesn't want to be writing this smut, I don't think. She also appears to be a gay woman, and she's in a relationship with her marketer, her publisher, who travels around with her to these shows where she does readings of her new books. And obviously, as she is writing about this woman who's with this man, it feels in a way that she's living a sham. She's not living a true life. So Carol is not very happy in her life. But fortunately, she does have a very supportive partner who actually encourages her to finally finish. But fortunately, she's a very supportive partner who actually encourages her to finish the book that she's been working on for years, that is going to be kind of her magnum opus. It will be her attempt to show that she is not just someone that writes these page turners. She can actually write a real book. And beyond that, we don't really know what the book is about. I hope that we learn more about that as we go on, because I feel like there is a lot going on in this show in terms of it examining just all of the layers of how our brains work and what it means to be okay and how you get to that place. And not only that, but like, just what do people need to be happy? And is happiness kind of almost worth the cost? It's a fascinating concept because at the end of the episode, Carol is approached by the hive mind, and they reassure her that they're going to fix this. I don't think that Carol wants to be a part of the hive mind, so this is not reassuring to her. She's also just lost her partner, and she is now one of the few people in the world who is not synced up. So she now has to live in a world where not only was she already struggling, but now she has to deal with everything else that's happening around her on top of it. And I think the question is, you know, even if you were offered complete happiness, but you would have to give up your individuality, is it worth that? And even if our individuality is what keeps us miserable, is that better? There are so many philosophical questions in this show, and that's something I really love about it. But also I feel like the writing is really smart. The way it goes through the story and shows you everything is very smart. Like, this is a cinematic wonder in the sense of it understands how to do storytelling. It doesn't hold our hand through things. It lets us figure out what's going on through visuals. For example, when people finally, the virus starts breaking out into people, and we can see everyone's getting infected. It doesn't say, you know, now everyone's getting infected. It just shows us what happens. We see that through saliva, this can be passed. You see people swabbing their mouths, licking the donuts, kissing each other to pass the virus along. So it's a very visual story. And Carol is like this character that we're following along with. We build up a kind of interesting story around her her life and her misery and her struggles. And then we drop her into this crazy scenario where the world all of the sudden around her overnight is changed like that. And now all of the problems she had, I'm sure also feel not as great with everything that's happening around her. And I feel like the mindset that she was in before this happened also is going to inform how she deals with it, right? Because she already wasn't doing well, and now she's lost a few things in her life that were meaningful to her. So I imagine Carol's going to be hitting rock bottom in the next episode, and I am curious to see what she'll hold on to. The other thing is that she's such a stubborn character, I feel, and that is something I really love about her. I just like this idea of characters that aren't so safe, that aren't so perfect. Carol is a character that I can already see has so many flaws, and that's part of what makes her interesting, and that's part of why I want to know what happens to her in this story. If you don't know, Pluribus was also created by the same creator as Breaking Bad, Vince Gilligan. And Breaking Bad is another series that I haven't made it all my way through Breaking Bad because it's a show that I actually need to watch and digest. Like, I can't watch all of it sprint run, and I was late starting it. And that is because I have a lot of emotional responses to what's happening, similar to what I'm already feeling in Pluribus. It's very well written, it's very smart, and because of that, it connects with people on an emotional level. So when Carol is feeling anxious, I feel anxious. When she is sad, I feel her sadness. It really allows us to sync up with the characters in the show and experience what they're going through. And I can't wait to see how that relates to also kind of this hive mind as we get to know everyone, where everyone is still very much who they are, so they claim, but they also understand and can feel everyone else on the planet. So they're both everyone and themselves. And I'm curious to see if we will even sync up with them more. Will we join the hive mind through watching this show? So overall, it's a really bizarre concept for a show, but it's really cool. I love that it's also sci-fi because, I don't know, just something about a great sci-fi show. I feel like it allows you to examine humanity on a level that we just don't usually get to see in other genres. I think sci-fi is unique in that sense because we're exploring things from a totally different lens, from a lens of pure possibility. If anything was possible and you pick something crazy to happen, how does it affect people? What does it say about who we are? How do we as humans deal with this and respond to it? When you put us in these impossible situations, which is often what happens in science fiction, it's really fascinating to examine how the human psyche would respond, which is why I'm so excited to continue with this show. That's pretty much all I have to say about my first thoughts on episode 1. I overall loved it, really enjoyed it, and I am very intrigued to see where it takes us next. I have to now catch up. I think episode 5 is out at the time of this recording, so I'll be catching up, and when I finish, I'll be back to talk to you about the full season. But if you do also want some episode reviews or some reactions for this one for members only, please let me know down in the comments below what you're feeling. And I also want to know, what are you thinking of this show? I mean, obviously it's been a while since we've had anything from Vince. So is this something that you're super here for? Were you a big fan of Breaking Bad? Are you just hearing about this show on its own? How did you find it, and what are your thoughts? And also, if you didn't know, Pluribus means of many or from many, so clearly we're referring to the collective, but I love that the number 1 is also in the title, implying that, like, what if you're the only one that's not part of the collective? Is like, even the title is themed to the show, so I think that's really neat. Oh, I can't wait to see where it goes, and also to go back and rewatch it when it's done, because I feel like there are probably a lot of little things happening in each episode. I may even go back and rewatch episode 1 just to see what I can notice, because yeah, it feels like the scope of this show is great, and everything that we're seeing is very intentional for things that will come back around later on. And isn't that just the best form of storytelling? Yes, it is. I'll see you guys down in the comments where we can talk about that. Overall, I'd give this first episode of Pluribus a 5 out of 5. It really blew me away, and I really cannot wait to continue with this. I heard it was good, and boy, were people right. It's really good. It's really good. It did not disappoint. That's all I have for this one. I'll see you next time. And until then, friends, stay nerdy. Bye. And if you like when I talk about shows like Pluribus, you might enjoy this. Check this out.